What can we learn from Shinran Shonin? Born near the ancient capital of Kyoto on May 21st, 1173, a period of great social unrest, lost both parents at an early age, became a monk at the age of 8, studied Buddha Dharma for 20 years on Mount Hiei, the center of Buddhist studies at that time. At the age of 28, descended Mount Hiei and became a disciple of the monk Honen, attained the assurance of birth in the Pure Land he had sought all his life. Because of the political pressure from other religious groups against his master, was exiled to the province of Ichigo. From there, immigrated to the then frontier area of Kanto, generally area of modern-day Tokyo, where he spread the Nembutsu teachings. Returned to Kyoto in old age. Wrote the Shoshinge, or Hymn of True Faith, and many other works expressing the absolute Buddha-centered power teaching of the Nembutsu. The first monk to publicly take a wife, as Shinni, who bore him 7 children, among them Zenran and Kakushini. Died on January 16, 1262, at the age of 89. The above is a brief outline of Shinran Shonin's life. If you wish to learn more about him, we recommend Shinran, His Life and Thought by Norihiko Kikumura, published by the Nembutsu Press. The 89 years of Shinran's life resulted in 2 major accomplishments, which are described in the next section. The Nembutsu. Shinran Shonin's first achievement was to refine the essence of faith from the various practices which existed in his day, and to express it in the form of Tariki, or Buddha-centered power. At that period of Japanese history, art, medicine, government, science, and everything that would come under the general classification of culture was considered to be religious. As these areas of activity and study began to be investigated independently of their religious significance, however, the sphere of religion became vague. Shinran Shonin's predecessor, scholar monks, had begun the process of discarding the non-religious elements from Buddha Dharma and groped toward the idea of faith. The Shonin inherited this tradition and carried it to its highest development, that of faith based on absolute Buddha-centered power. It is impossible to go beyond this level. Anything further than the point to which Shinran carried Buddha Dharma will result in a non-faith deviation from the religious sphere. The second thing Shinran Shonin did was to simplify Buddha Dharma so that even unenlightened persons such as you and I could participate in the teachings and gain birth in the Pure Land. The teachings left by the historical Shakyamuni Buddha are remarkable for their profundity. However, because his teachings are intended for monks who have the leisure that can come only from abandoning home and family, for a homeowner with a family to support, they are extremely difficult to follow. You are probably aware of the series of pictures, quote, the 53 views of the Tokaido, or Eastern Ocean Way, close quote, by the artist Hiroshige. The 53 views, or way stations, from Edo, the ancient name for the city of Tokyo, to the then capital of Kyoto, was selected to correspond with the 53 levels of enlightenment in the Buddha Dharma. As long as you kept moving on the Tokaido, you would eventually get from Edo, or ignorance, to Kyoto, or enlightenment. However, no matter how far you progress on the Buddhist way to enlightenment, until you reach the 53rd level, it is possible that at any time you will fall back to the lowest level, requiring you to start all over again. Shakyamuni Buddha had a disciple named Shariputra, who determined to pass through all 53 levels and attain enlightenment through the way of dana, or giving freely everything he owned. A man once asked Shariputra for his eyes. Shariputra hesitated, but reasoned, "Even if I give one eye away, I will still have another left. That should be sufficient." Shariputra tore an eye out and presented it to the man, but the man, receiving the bloody eye, said it was dirty, and, throwing it to the ground, stomped on it. Seeing this, Shariputra lost his temper, and immediately lost all the merit gained from his long years of religious practice. Until Shinran Shonin, everyone who wished to attain enlightenment had to follow what is referred to as the path of sages, in which the devotee had to spend every moment of his life in his religious quest. Shinran Shonin himself diligently pursued this path for 20 years. But regardless of how ideal this path may be, we must seriously consider whether it is one that we can tread. Although we may be able to physically go through all the prescribed forms of religious activity which others can observe, it is extremely difficult to develop the heart which motivates these actions. Quote, "But for this ignorant Shinran," close quote. This is the attitude with which Shinran started. This skeptical and doubting attitude toward ourselves is where our quest for spiritual enlightenment begins. Where this doubt is pierced is where the world of the Nembutsu begins. Or rather, when this doubt is enwrapped in the causal vow, is where the entrance to the Pure Land opens up. Doubt is basic to the teachings of Jodoshinshu, for without it, the experience of the causal vow will not be had. Experiencing the causal vow is usually referred to as having faith in it. There is nothing wrong with the word faith, except that it connotes having to believe in something because it is impossible to know about it. But experience of the causal vow is knowledge of it.